The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. Scott Earhart here with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. Thank you very, very much for taking the time to join us this morning. I'm sure that you're going to find the information that we're going to show you today very, very valuable. We are going to take a pretty in-depth dive into one of the top accumulation vehicles in the fixed index annuity space, and that is Athene's Performance Elite Series. And in order to do that, we have our relationship VP with us, Mr. Mac Campbell. Mac, can you hear us?
I can, Scott. Thanks again for having me.
Hey, thank you, Mac. We really appreciate your time. I know it's a real busy time over at Athene, so thank you for taking some time with us today. Before I hand it over to Mac and go through, get into the meat and potatoes of today's presentation, do want to go through just a few housekeeping items and a couple introductory slides. First housekeeping item, and probably the most important thing you will see out of my mouth today, or hear out of my mouth today, is our telephone number, and that's on the top right-hand side of your screen. It is 800-255-5055. If there is anything we can be doing here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services to help you in your life, annuity, or assets under management efforts, please do not hesitate to give us a call. We'd absolutely love to be working with you. Second housekeeping item that I will hit on are polling questions. Throughout the slides here today, I will launch a few polling questions. They are simple yes or no questions. If you would please take the time to answer those, I certainly would appreciate that. And then final housekeeping item are going to be questions. We're going to throw quite a bit of information at you here in a relatively short period of time, so I'm sure there's going to be questions. Mac and actually the entire culture at Athene do a great job of being as transparent as possible. So as you have questions, type them in. At the end of the session, we always like to take a few minutes to try and answer as many as we can. And again, Mac does a great job. So feel free to utilize that questions box. Now, let's get into a few introductory slides here. And what I want to start with are the IMES Business Builders. You'll see the first program there is going to be the referred producer program, and our business here on the wholesale side of the industry, very similar to yours there in the field, and one of the best leads we're ever going to obtain are referrals from our valued clients, or you, our valued producers. So we want to make it worth your while to refer individuals over to us. So when you refer an advisor to us and they pick up any license through us here at IMES, we're going to send you a $50 thank you check. Now, where the real money comes in on that is as your referred producer writes business, you'll receive a 20 basis point override on that business. We cut those checks at least quarterly, and Steve and Charles, our ownership team, they sign checks for thousands and thousands of dollars at a time. Can be very lucrative. If you do have an individual you'd like to refer over to us here at IMES, someone you think we might be able to help in their business, please type their information into the questions box or email me at scott@imesinc.com, or when I call to follow up with you after the webinar, feel free to give me their information. Myself or someone on my team will do everything we can to get them recruited over here at IMES and get you on your way to earning some referred producer dollars. Now, below that is our most popular business building tool, and that's our marketing reimbursement program. Basic numbers on that: for every $100,000 in premium that you put through us here at IMES, we put $100 into your marketing reimbursement account. Now, what makes this so lucrative is here at IMES, we do truly consider that to be your money. So we're not going to put a cap on how much you can earn. We're not going to tell you that you've got to roll it out quarterly or annually, anything like that. You use it when you need to be when you need it. Also, we don't really put restrictions on vendors that you utilize. So if there's a lead company or a print shop that you're comfortable with, that you've had success with, all we ask is you send us a receipt for the marketing expense you have, and we'll get you out a check to help you offset that expense. If you'd like more details on how marketing reimbursement works, or if you'd like us to calculate what's available in your marketing reimbursement account, just let me know. We'll be more than happy to get that done for you. On to our new producer builders. This is going to be geared towards an individual who is new to us here at Insurance Agency Marketing, or if this is your first introduction to us here at IMES, you are eligible for this program. It is based on your production within your first 180 days of being licensed. As you can see, there are 3 levels to cash in at, and great options at each level. There's going to be cash rewards, there's going to be business building tools, personal perks, a lot of great things that you can utilize there. That being said, if you'd like to have a conversation about how it works or what we could do to help you step up to the next level, please let me know. That's a great conversation to have. Back office support. This is the heart of who we are here at IMES, and really what we do to help our advisors be the most successful they can be. We help them work smarter, not harder, and we do that with a lot of great resources and tools, business building tools and resources. You've seen a couple of the programs there. We've got great resources at IMESinc.com. We've got great resources here internally that can help you with case design, life and annuity quotes, and the commitment we'll make to you as far as helping you with that business practice is we're going to answer the phone here within 3 rings. You will always have a live person answer the phone at IMES, someone that can help you directly or transfer you directly to someone that can get that need filled for you. We're also going to get the information you need, whether it's paperwork, quotes, anything of that nature, out to you within 24 hours. There's not going to be a delay on that. So we are definitely here to help you. Forms at your fingertips. I talked about getting the forms you need out to you quickly. You can get them at IMESinc.com, or of course you can call us at 800-255-5055, and we'll get them shipped or emailed to you very, very quickly. One thing I do want to talk about is submission to commission support. That's our back office here. That's our new business management team. Amber Williams and her entire team do such a great job. We're going to scrub apps for you. We're going to submit apps for you, and we're going to track it through the issuance process, both life and annuities, to take that off your plate, give you more time to be out selling and prospecting. And we're going to take care of that stuff. You're going to get at minimum weekly updates on what's going on. Normally they're going to be every couple of days. You're going to have an update on exactly what's going on with your apps. What I can tell you, and I've heard this from a ton of our advisors, if you're someone that submits direct to carrier, that's absolutely a great thing to do. But I'd tell you, give us one application, let Amber and her team work it for you. You'd be shocked at how much faster that team can get things issued for you. It's a great, great resource here at IMES. Top sales expertise and coaching. We've got great internal expertise here. The marketing staff has a lot of experience, and we do have top sales coaches throughout the country. I'll talk about those here in another slide or two, but just know that we've got the expertise and coaching here to help you grow your business where you want it to be. And then paperless contracting. We are on the Efficient Forms platform, so all the pain and the hand cramps of filling out individual licensing, we're going to take that away from you. We're going to ask you to fill out a licensing document one time, and then we can really get you appointed with just about anybody that you would need. Do have an in-house creative team as well. We've got a real unique name for that division here. We call them IMES Creative, but Jacob and his team do such a great job. We have ready-to-go turnkey solutions that are here for you. We can get them printed, get them customized for you. They are professionally written, and they range from handouts, flyers, postcards, newsletters, pretty much anything you need to communicate a message to your prospects or clients, we have for you. And we can get those turned around for you very, very quickly. Agency solutions, we can help you with a fully customized brand. One thing I'll tell you is if you haven't created a consistent brand for your business, I'd tell you talk to Jacob, talk to someone on his team about it. It can be very, very beneficial for you. Really will help you with your name recognition, will help you in a lot of different ways, and we can get logos designed for you, put them on business cards, brochures, stationery, any advertising you do. We can handle all that here in-house for you. And then digital solutions, websites, marketing strategies, email consulting, newsletters, social media. We've got a lot of expertise there, and I'd tell you, again, talk to Jacob, talk to someone on his team about what they can do to really help you increase your online presence. Our website, IMESinc.com. If you haven't been out there and created an account, I'd tell you to do so. A lot of great stuff: sales tools, term quote, forms online, annuity news, carrier grids, product grids, a lot of great stuff out there. One thing we are adding on that I do want to mention here, and it should be live here any day now, is we have entered into an agreement with an errors and omissions carrier to provide our licensed advisors discounted E&O. So if you are shopping E&O, I'd say keep your eyes peeled at IMESinc.com. Going to be an announcement out there shortly, and probably something that could save you a few dollars and help you along the way there. Retirement Analyzer, great sales tool here, great analysis tool that we make available to our advisors. The Retirement Analyzer is really a holistic analysis of where a client sits with their retirement dollars now, how long they should last them into their future. And with the simple click of a button, you can show a client how much longer their money will last because they choose to implement the recommendations or products that you're making to them. Not only does it really help you to help the client understand why you're making the recommendations you are, it helps you close that sale as well. Marcus Solar here in our office is our point man for Retirement Analyzer. We do have a free trial as well as some training tools on how to utilize the software package. If you'd like to take a closer look at the Retirement Analyzer, just give Marcus a call. He can get that information out to you. IMES Wealth Management. As I talk about IMES Wealth Management, I'm going to launch our first poll of the day. And basically, I'm going to ask you if you'd like more information about IMES Wealth. If you click yes, you'll receive an automated email just with some basic information, as well as a follow-up call from our onboarding specialist, Mr. Mike Hansen. Really walk you through who we are and what we're about over there. Great success story here with IMES Wealth. It's been open, we're coming up on 2 years now, I believe, and we really opened it to be modeled after how we modeled the IMO here in IMES, service-based organization there to help the independent IAR in their practice, give them great tools, give them a great platform. So we've had a lot of success with that, and our advisors, our potential advisors, and their clients have all really enjoyed what we bring to the table there. One thing I will say that we found very surprising is we thought it was going to be real organic growth. We would help our insurance advisors pass the Series 65 and then build their assets under management practice, which has been very, very true. But we've attracted a lot of existing IARs due to the technology and the platform that we have, and then a very, very aggressive fee structure, a lot of value proposition with IMES Wealth. So I would tell you, if you are considering becoming Series 65 licensed, click yes. Mike can have a great conversation with you about who we are and about those training relationships that we have. If you are an existing IAR, click yes as well. I think you'd be very impressed with the platform, the technology, as well as the fee structure involved there. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and close down this poll and move on. If you haven't taken the time to click yes or no, if you would please do so, certainly appreciate everyone's participation there. All right, moving on to our Life and Annuity Academy, and I'm sorry to do this, but for some reason I stacked these back to back in my slide deck, but I'm going to launch 2 polls back to back, asking you here if you'd like more information on our Life and Annuity Academy. I believe we are committed to hosting at least 4 Life and Annuity Academies in 2019. I don't have dates yet, but if you click yes, you will be put on the interested parties list, and you will be the first group that's notified when we do have dates in 2019. What we do in our Life and Annuity Academies are we usually bring producers in on a Wednesday, have an evening session Wednesday, full day session Thursday, morning session Friday, and then get you out on a plane, hopefully by midday, and hopefully in time, home in time for dinner. We will do a lot of things at these academies that are going to be marketing and sales based, not necessarily product based, which I think really, really helps. You're going to meet all of the department heads here at IMES, you're going to meet people from our life division. I'll be there to talk about our annuity division. Charles R. Hiring will be there to discuss IMES wealth management. Jacob Tedlock, the head of our creative team, will be there. Amber Williams, the head of our new business staff, to talk about our departments and what we do to help our advisors on individual basis, making sure your business runs as smoothly as possible and is as profitable as possible for you. Of course, you'll meet Steve Murray and Charles Hiring, our ownership team. They're going to talk to you about what IMES is all about, and really they want to get to know you, which I think is something that's pretty unique to have the ownership team there. They want to make sure that your experience with us at IMES is tailored specifically to you and is as profitable for you as possible. One of the best things that I think we do is the sales coaches I mentioned earlier. We bring in at least 4 of them from throughout the country to present to you about what it is that they do and how they became top producers in the industry, and give you the ability to take that information back and implement it in your own business. Again, I don't have dates for 2019, but I'm going to go out on a limb here, Mac, and I'm going to say at least one of the academies that we will host will be with Athene. Athene has been a great partner to us with these over the years, so I'd be amiss if I didn't give Mac the opportunity to speak on the IMES Life and Annuity Academy. Mac, any comments you'd like to make?
Yeah, thanks, Scott. And I think you're more than accurate there. I would say at least one, perhaps 2 or more we're hoping to do with you guys into 19. So that'll be great for all the people that are able to attend. I guess what I'd say, to your point, Scott, we've done several of these with you over the last several years, some in your office, some in our home office. And from my perspective, it's always great to kind of tell the Athene story to producers. But if I'm sitting in the audience and I'm in the shoes of one of the reps in the room, really there's certainly a lot of information that we'll give you. You're going to get a lot of great information from the folks at IMES, as Scott mentioned. But there's also intentionally a lot of downtime, right? There's meals, there's breaks. And the reason being is, what I love about the business, as long as I've been in it and all the travel I've done across the country, there isn't just one way to succeed in this business if you're a producer. You may do it one way, a person on the other side of the country may do it a different way, and yet you're both successful. So there's a lot of great downtime for you to share your story with someone else, and then to hear theirs as well. So just to hear how others are succeeding in the business, I think is great, and it's a real collaborative environment. So a bit long-winded there, Scott, sorry, but I guess the bottom line for those on the call, if you've not had an opportunity to attend one of those academies that IMES puts on, I'd strongly recommend that you do that. And I know from our part, we're hoping to do at least 2 of them with you guys next year. So we'll look forward to that. Thanks, Scott.
Hey, thank you, Mac. All I heard was you just absolutely committed for 2 there. I'll pass that on to the ownership team. So Mac said type of thing.
Assumed close. I love it.
But thank you for the kind words, Mac, and thank you for everybody that did participate in that poll. Do want to make sure everybody is aware of the 2019 IMES Marketing Summit. Qualification ongoing, 3 million trip credits gets you there. We're going to the Ritz-Carlton in Naples. If you have ever been to this location, it is top-notch in the U.S. Very excited about it. Great shopping, great golf, great spa, a lot of great company, great meals. Really excited to do this. If you'd like to know where you stand as far as qualification, I believe we have a pretty close to fully updated list now. If you'd like to talk about what we can be doing to help you get over that 3 million trip credit threshold, certainly that's a great conversation to have as well. Let me know. The Dash for Cash that we are running with Equitrust, make sure everybody's aware of that. This is ongoing. If you would like to have a conversation about what we're doing there, please let me know. But we are currently giving away cash prizes with Equitrust right now. And I didn't get the slide in here, but before I hand it over to Mac, and Mac may be able to speak more on this than I can, we are doing a co-branded incentive trip with Athene. It started October 1. I believe that we are running it through March 31st of next year based on Athene production. We are going to the JW Marriott in San Antonio, which is just going to be a fantastic locale. Charles Hiring, our founder and owner, went down and did a site visit at this location. Came back super excited about it. So if you'd like details on that, please let me know. And Mac, first and foremost, before I give it to you, my apologies for not getting that in my slide deck. I will have it remedied next time we do this. And that being said, I'm going to hand everything over to Mr. Campbell right now. And Mac, you should have control.
Okay, great. No worries, Scott. Appreciate the heads up there. And again, just to reiterate what Scott said, we've got an exclusive trip with the IMES folks to bring some of the top producers from their Athene business to just a wonderful city in San Antonio. Great spot, great food, great golf. So if you're intrigued by that at all, call the folks at IMES. They can get you all the details, the dates, all that fun stuff. So that said, Scott, if you would, as we usually do here before we get going, can you hear me and see the slide? Okay.
I can hear you and I can see it, sir.
Great. Well, again, thanks for the introduction, Scott. Great job as always. And thank you to everyone on the phone here or on your computer. Taking the time. We'll take about 15, 20 minutes here. This is a pretty quick presentation, and I like it because it's it's quick, number one, but number two, the reason it's quick is that it's a simple product, and there isn't a lot of simple products in the marketplace today. So we're going to try to keep it simple. I'm going to show you an illustration or two why I like certain parts of the illustration. I'm an old school life guy from back in the day, and I used to sell life insurance based on an illustration. So I find that if you can have one in an annuity sale that actually helps, doesn't hurt, I think it's a good thing. So we'll cover that a little bit as well. If you're not familiar with Athene and our portfolio of products, a couple things just to note really, really quick. Number one, all we do is annuities. We have no life insurance on the books. We don't like mortality. We're very, very good at pricing, building, and distributing products for longevity, annuity products, deferred annuities. We have some fixed products. We have primarily, however, indexed annuity products or fixed indexed annuity products. And if you're looking at a prospect or a customer that you may have on your book of business already that has some assets available to position into an annuity, just understand that when you look at Athene, we've got products that fit virtually every single need someone may have pre-retirement or certainly as they're getting near retirement, and then also within retirement, whether they're looking for income once they're in retirement or perhaps protection, CD-type annuities, fixed to MIGAs, if you will. We also have some of those in the portfolio. And then legacy as well, a couple of different death benefit annuity options for your customers as well. For the purposes of the next 15, 20 minutes, though, we're going to focus on accumulation. And, this is a segment of the annuity world that's finally coming back in vogue. For years, we were selling a ton of income riders, and that's great for some people that need the income. But ultimately, if someone's just looking for good old-fashioned safe accumulation, except for the most recent couple of years, there hasn't been a lot of great opportunity. Interest rates have been very low, which has put pressure on carriers to build products with decent rates and friendly liquidity provisions, good bonuses. Rates have improved, but we've actually had this on our books here for several years now, and this is one of the industry's best-selling products called the Performance Elite product. So again, we're going to talk nothing about income here, or death benefit for that matter. There is a death benefit as is typical with most accumulation products, which we'll cover, but there's no rider here to speak of. All we're looking to do here is take your client's money, keep it safe, but then grow it and give them a good opportunity for potential upside as well. So at the end of this conversation here or presentation, I think what we're hoping to get across, basically three things. This has got one of the strongest premium bonus features in the industry today, some of the highest crediting rates available today. And on top of that, we also have some of the best liquidity provisions that you can find on an annuity today as well. Now think about what we just covered. Huge premium bonus opportunities, great rates, and strong liquidity. It sounds like I just described 3 separate annuities, because typically it's difficult to have a big bonus and have great rates, right? Because something's got to give, typically with pricing. We've come up with a way to give you the big bonus, or give your client the big bonus rather, and provide them great rates as well. But again, going back to that initial thinking, if you've got a product with great rates, typically the bonus is usually lower, or maybe the liquidity is not so great. What you'll find here is this is sort of the best of all those worlds. A great bonus, great rates, great liquidity. So let's get right into it. There's basically 3 versions of this product. We've got a 7-year, a 10-year, and a 15-year chassis. Far and away, I'd say the sweet spot is either the 7 or the 10-year for us. The 15-year certainly has its place. The bonus is rather large. The rates tend to be very good as well. And for the right clients that has that kind of time frame ahead of them, I think it makes a lot of sense. But for the most part, we're seeing most of our sales go into either the 10-year or the 7-year product. Now, once you've selected a duration, the next choice your client has to make is, do they want the Performance Elite Plus, which includes a larger premium bonus plus better liquidity, or do they want the base version? Now, I will tell you, we're going to spend most of our time focusing on the Plus version, because that's where roughly 90% of the Performance Elite sales go, and you'll see why once we discuss that. But I'll tell you now, if you know you have a customer that doesn't care much about liquidity, all they care about is performance, the Performance Elite base version far and away is the best accumulation product in the marketplace. Now, the reality is, though, most clients like some liquidity, they like a larger bonus, so that's where we're going to talk about the Plus. Now, if we're focusing on the 7 and the 10-year, you'll notice we've got largely a nationwide 6% bonus. There are a few states that have smaller bonuses for these products, but by and large, nationwide, we're going to talk about that version here. The Performance Elite 7 has a 6% premium bonus. The 10-year's got a 10% premium bonus. Again, if you look at if we stop here, we've got a 7-year chassis, 6% bonus. You'd be hard-pressed to find that anywhere else in the business. And then on a 10-year chassis, again, a 10% premium bonus. Now, the reason I focus on that a lot is, most of the business that carriers receive typically is via transfer or 1035 exchange, if it's a non-qualified situation, from another company, right, another annuity. And more often than not, there are charges, surrender charges that are on the back end of the other product that the client's going to be hit with. Most carriers, Athene included, at least want you to have a net positive result for the client. We'll actually take a net -2 result, factoring in a premium bonus. If you have a product with no premium bonus, you're going to be hard-pressed to roll those funds over. Here we have a huge bonus for you to take advantage of for the customer to help offset some of those charges, and I think that's a great thing to have. So we talked about premium bonuses. Don't get too overwhelmed by the slide I just put in front of you here. This just shows the myriad of strategies that we have. Also shows the rates that we have as well. So if you look across the far right, we've got our PE7, our 10-year, of course, our 15-year here, and we've got strategies really for every situation. I'm a huge believer in, given enough time, whether it's 7 or 10 years or beyond, the market will do what it's designed to do. And it's typically up more than it's not over a 7 or 10-year period. But on top of that, you want to make sure that you have strategies that your clients can choose from that give them options that may behave in different market environments, right? So we've got traditional strategies at the top, a 1-year point-to-point on the S&P, cap of 5% or 4.5%, depending on the product you're in. Very strong. Remember that 7-year product got a 6% premium bonus. We have a 5% cap. That's pretty darn good there. A monthly cap of 1.85 on that one. Then we have multiple uncapped indices, both 1-year versions and 2-year versions. Now, I love the idea of uncapped strategies. We're seeing a lot of 2-year designs, and the reason we're seeing a lot of 2-year designs as you can see, give you an example here. If we look at our Janus SocGen index, the 1-year version, the 1-year point-to-point here has a current rate on the 7-year product of 55%. Or that's a participation rate. So whatever the index does, the client's going to get a little over half of it at the end of the day. Now, the 2-year strategy, though, has 90% participation. So clearly there's a pricing advantage by going out over a year. So if you go 2 years out, the options that the carriers buy to help deliver these rates often are cheaper, and it allows us to provide the client with better rates. The issue that I have with the 2-year strategy, of course, is that you got to wait 2 years to see anything. Again, I'm an old school person, like I mentioned before, and it can be tough, depending on the clients you have, to wait 2 years, right? Most people have annual reviews with their advisors. I'm sure you do a lot of those on your own as well with your clients. And if you know going into that 1-year anniversary that you got nothing to show for it, that can be hard to kind of talk about. So what I typically do is mix a 1-year and a 2-year together, and that gives you the ability to have at least something to show them each and every year. Now, what I'd like to do, actually, I'm going to hold on that. I'll come back to the illustration in a minute. So I guess the takeaway here, everyone, is there's a lot of options, a lot of flexibility, and there are strategies here that give the clients opportunities for growth in many different marketplaces. We have different asset classes and some. We have some home run strategies here as well. And then again, we've got your fixed account there at the bottom that I think is important to have for some folks as well. So we've talked big bonus. We've talked great rates. Now I'd like to talk about liquidity. Now again, we're going to focus primarily on the bottom half of this slide, which is the Performance Elite Plus. Now, you may be asking, well, what's the difference? You know, I know the bonus is larger. The rates are actually the same regardless of the version of the product you sell. Of course, the liquidity is better as well. There is a fee for the larger bonus and the better liquidity of 95 basis points each year. And we'll explain how that works in a moment as well. That's just during the surrender charge period, however. So if they're in a 7-year version of this, they're going to pay 95 bips for just that 7-year period. If they're in the 10-year version, of course, it's 10 years. But here's how the liquidity works for that fee. They're going to get 10% available day one. And in any year that they don't take a withdrawal, next year they can take 20% free of charge. And I'll explain how that works numerically in a moment. Plus, so we've got 10% immediate. We've got this 20% rollover free withdrawal amount that's available, again, if they have not taken anything in the prior year. But then the largest part to me, this is a great sleep at night feature, a feature that I don't think anyone will ever use, but it's nice to know that they have an off-ramp in their retirement plan. I think clients look for that, look for ways that they can perhaps take some money off the table if they need to, if things don't work out, if life changes. We know that happens. At the end of the 4th year, they're 100% liquid. That is that there's a return of premium rider attached to this, right? So we've got this 10% free immediately, 20% rollover free withdrawals possible. And then, of course, after the 4th year, if they haven't earned a dime, which I doubt that that'll happen, but if they haven't, they can take all their money back, get their premium back free of charge. And there's no charge back to you on the commission as the advisor as well. Again, that's one of those features I don't think folks will use because I've seen over the last few years statements that have returned just incredible results for clients. So I think they're going to be happy. But again, it's nice to know that if things change in their life, or if it doesn't work out the way we've illustrated, that they can take their money off the table and put it somewhere else. So again, 95 basis point charge for the larger bonus opportunity, for the much better liquidity options as well. And I think people are used to paying for value. So don't look at that charge as necessarily an objection. I mean, people want options. They want the ability to choose how flexible their product will be. And I think if it's actual value they're getting, they'll pay the 95 bips. And our business certainly is illustrating that. We see, again, roughly 90% of the cases we get have this liquidity rider. Because, again, they're noticing right out of the gate, they're getting a much larger bonus, and that's cash in pocket, right? That goes to work for them day one. And the ability to sleep at night and get their money back after 4 years is pretty huge. So I think that's a small price to pay for that flexibility. Let me just show you just a quick numerical example again on that rollover flexibility this has. So let's assume that the policy is issued and in the first year they don't take anything out of the contract. That means in year 2, they can take up to 20% free of charge. Let's say in year 3, though, they take 5%. That doesn't mean in year 4 they get 15. Remember, the way this thing works is if you take anything in 1 year, you can only take 10% the next. If you take nothing the prior year, that's when you get the full 20 the next year. But again, still very flexible, very liquid for a lot of different reasons there. So just to quickly sum it up, and then what I'd like to do is actually show you a couple of illustrations that highlight the return of premium feature I mentioned, and also kind of show how these strategies look 1 year versus 2 year, and why I think it's great to show the client those options. So again, to summarize quickly here, great premium bonus, market-leading rates, and powerful liquidity features, all in a single accumulation annuity. Again, if your client's looking for income, we have another product for that. If they're looking for death benefit, we have another product for that. This will accumulate money for your clients better than most, if not anything else in the marketplace today. Short of course, being in the market, which we know is a different story because there's a lot of risk involved there. This is a zero risk instrument for your clients. So what I'd like to do before I get into the state approvals, if I may, is step out of the presentation and just show you a few illustrations. So we'll highlight a few things. Here's just a quick cover page. This is the 10-year version of the annuity. This is the Performance Elite Plus. So again, this is the one that has the larger bonus and the return of premium feature. What I like to do first is show people what they're participating in. So in this strategy here, this annuity, we're choosing 2 one-year uncapped indices, the Janus, the 50% allocation, and then the BNP. The Janus in our portfolio, I like to kind of phrase that as our home run strategy. When the market does well, this thing is going to kill it. The BNP has multiple asset classes, so when the market kind of zigs, it tends to zag. So I like the stability that brings to the table, particularly if we're going to be allocating into a home run strategy as well. So those are the 2 strategies we're going to look at first. And very quickly, we'll go to the guaranteed page. Again, we're going to assume zero growth here, right, for the entire duration. You can see the $100,000 case goes into the annuity. They're getting roughly $108,000, $109,000 after the charge comes out at the end of that first year. Notice the cash surrender value. After 4 years, they gave you $100,000. The surrender value is $100,000, worst case. So again, that's a nice sleep at night feature. You can show your client that if the market goes negative for 4 straight years, like this basically indicates, you get your money back free of charge. I like that feature there. Now again, they're unlikely to need it based on how this thing could perform, but let's just take a look at how that works. Then of course we have the non-guaranteed pages here, and what we've done here is effectively looked at every market cycle over the last 15 years and kind of backed into our rates based on current rates here, right? So here we're illustrating 5.3%. You can see they give you $100,000, and at the end of the 10th year here, they've got roughly, call it 177 or 168 here, I guess it would be. Again, that's not an income rider account. That's not a benefit base. That's actual value for the customer, dollars in their pocket. So I think that's nice to see. Now, the reality is, though, while an illustration like this is meaningful, it's rare. We know if ever, the market is not linear, right? It goes up, it goes down. We're just showing a simple linear amount here, which makes sense. But if you haven't illustrated our annuities yet, we've recently added a new feature that allows you to show the client what an average may look like, but also what the actual performance would have been over the last 10 years had you been in this annuity. So again, we're going to go to the same set of circumstances here, right? Here's our illustration. We're using the same strategies, 50-50. Guaranteed page looks the exact same. There's a $100,000 return of premium. We're going to go to the actual performance. So now what we've done is we took the last 10 calendar years and we said, what would have this done? What would have it returned to the client each year if they were in it, for the last 10 years? And you can see that, again, the market's not linear, right? The annual assumed rate in year 1 was about 1.5. Did well, did over 6%, almost 7% years 2 and 3. Had a couple of big years, 9, 11, there's a 10 there. But then had a year that wasn't so great, right? 0.03. Notice, though, at the end of the time there, they had about 176,000, roughly the same as we illustrated. But I think it's important to show a client that the market is not linear. and that the ride will be choppy. They're not going to lose money, right? This is an indexed annuity, but they're not always going to get that linear 5% that the market may show on averages. I'm going to show you one more illustration. And what I want to illustrate here is, again, why 2-year strategies tend to be very popular. I love the returns that are possible, particularly with our SocGen strategy that I'll show you. But again, your client is going to have to wait a couple of years potentially to see that. So again, the guaranteed slide looks the exact same no matter what strategy you choose. Here's the big difference. Now, this is the actual returns over the last 10 years. And we're 100% invested in our 2-year point-to-point SocGen strategy. Notice that for the first 3 years, there is, well, actually, let's look at it this way. We know that the strategy only returns value every other year, basically every second year. So we know in that first year, it's going to be a 0% return because it's a 2-year strategy. Notice though, in year 2, it returned nothing. So for the first 2 years, the client did not receive any interest in their account. Now, let's see what happens the next possible time there was interest to be had there. Notice that it was an 11% return, right? So nothing in year 3 because, again, it's a 2-year snapshot. So in year 4, they got 11. In year 5, we know there's nothing to show there. Year 6, this is the home run I talked about. 43% is what they would have received there. So notice, let's go back at the end of the way here, right? So we received, the last year we had this strategy, we got about 16%. We actually got about 186,000 in value, which despite this choppy ride and all those years of getting 0 is better than what the linear illustration shows. So this isn't for everybody, clearly, because again, there's going to be years where there's no growth to have there, but there are going to be years where you're going to get a home run like you had there in year 5 or 6 there. And then again in year 10. Again, I love the strategy. What I often will do is mix in a 1-year point-to-point strategy that maybe is not so home run in nature to provide some stability there. But I think it's important to show clients how these strategies react in different market environments and what they could potentially do. You'll be hard-pressed to find there's another strategy in the marketplace that can even come close to returning 43% in a year like that, like this one would have done. So with that, we'll just jump quickly back into the presentation, Scott, and I'll close it by just showing some of the state approvals here. The 7-year is approved virtually everywhere, except for New York. Again, it's a very client-friendly design, 7-year surrender charge. The 10-year, a lot of different colors there. The version we've been discussing is in the dark blue states. If you're in one of those states, and I think you know who you are, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Texas, we have a version of the 10-year for you. It just looks a little bit different. Typically, the premium bonus will be a little lower, and the issue ages might be a little different. But again, the rates will be the same on the product you have there. And then again, the 15-year, which we didn't spend a ton of time on, is only available in probably 2/3 of the country or 3/4 of the country. You can see that the grayed out states, it's not available. But again, it is in the rest of the country there. So, Scott, with that, I'll turn it over to you. We did cover quite a bit of information. Again, I think as annuities go, this is pretty simple. There's no income rider discussion to have. There's no death benefit discussion to have. This just is good old-fashioned accumulation. So I'm happy to take questions about what we discussed or about Athene, about the industry, whatever you guys would like.
Sure. Thank you, Mac. Great job as always. Questions are still coming in, and feel free to type them in. I'm going to launch our last polling question of the day as we go through the questions here, and just basically ask you if you'd like more information about Athene. If you click yes, we'll get you out information on the Performance Elite product as well as licensing if you're not already licensed. So that poll is up and live. And just a couple of questions did come in. Mac, and the first one, I don't think I've ever asked you this before, so I'm excited.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah. I think it's a great question. I don't know if I've ever heard this answered, but is Athene at a disadvantage by not having life insurance to offset annuity cash flows?
Yeah, it's a very valid question, and it's funny. The person who asked that almost sounds like they work for a rating agency. I'm kidding. So listen, it's a great question. And, I'm going to kind of give you some quick history on the company. So forgive what may be a little long-winded response here, but I think it's important to look back before we understand how that question should be answered. So Athene acquired Aviva, if you remember those days, back in 2012, I want to say. And Athene came in and had a willingness to sell annuities, but not life insurance. So they came in, sold the life block, said, all we're going to do is focus on annuities. Now, initially, the rating agencies were a little concerned. They said, well, geez, usually we like the cash flow, persistent premiums of life insurance to offset some of the larger annuity cases that we see, right? But what they failed to kind of see, at least initially, and this is actually borne out in our favor over the last several years, is that when you're focusing on just one line of business, the portfolio doesn't get diluted. You have a laser focus on pricing, a laser focus on being responsible with how you do that and how you develop it. And the reality is, from my perspective, if I'm in the annuity division, and in a lot of companies these days, this is budget time that's happening, right? So we're all fighting for budget dollars. And if we have the life insurance division looking for 60 cents on the dollar, and the annuity division looking for 60 cents on the dollar, and the long-term care division looking for 40 cents on the dollar, that's more than a dollar, folks. So that's not going to add up, right? So something always gives, and competitiveness and pricing to the client typically does. With our streamlined portfolio of annuities, we spend every dollar, every dime on bolstering the portfolio to making sure we're providing competitive product. And frankly, our balance sheet. We've got very little debt on our books as a result. Again, we're not great. We don't love mortality. We love pricing longevity. And what that has yielded, so if we look back to 2012, when Athene back in those days was actually rated from AM Best B++, despite only working in annuities, not having life insurance, we're now at an A rating with them. And we believe we should get our A+ here in the near future. Although I'm not going to have you paint me into a corner on that quite yet. We run our business as if we had the A+ rating. But right now we have an A with AM Best, and that's from a B++ back 5 or 6 years ago. So great question. That thinking used to be very common, but the reality is if you're doing one thing but do it better than anybody and profitably, that rating agencies and customers should be very happy with that. Hope that helps.
So what I just heard, Mac, not only did you guarantee me earlier multiple academies with Athene this year, but we're going to see an announcement within the next few weeks about an A+ rating.
Man, you got to stop doing that assumed close, my man. You're gonna get me in trouble.
Fair enough. No, thank you for the very detailed answer, Mac. That knocked it out of the park. Appreciate it. I'm not going to pose this question as bluntly as it was posed to me, but any commentary that you would make on Athene's future business plans, growth strategies? I think you know what that is getting at.
Sure. Yeah. We have multiple business lines. Of course, I just thought we just do annuities. The retail part of the company, the part that we are all engaged in on a daily basis, whether you're selling us or servicing or wholesaling, that's our retail annuity division. We do have other separate businesses under the Athene Holding brand. One is a pension risk transfer business. We actually have a reinsurance company as well based out of Bermuda, and another business that we will engage in if the prices are right, that's key there, is M&A activity, mergers and acquisitions. And I just talked to you about how Athene acquired Aviva. Over the years, they've acquired other companies as well. You probably saw towards the end of last year, I think it was, or beginning of this year, we actually acquired some of the Voya block as well. I think what they're wanting me to say is who are we going to buy next, I guess, as you mentioned the word bluntly. The reality is I have no idea. But if I'm buying something, and again, this is just Mac Campbell talking here. This is not, Athene or anything like that. Think of what the market's done over the last 6 to 8 years. When Athene acquired Aviva 6 or 7 years ago, they literally paid 50 cents on the dollar for that company because at that point, insurance companies were depressed, interest rates were low, the market was way lower than it was today. The reality is equities are expensive, and I think that means buying or acquiring a company means you got to pay a lot more than you probably would want to. And like most people, when they're buying things, we don't like to overpay. So, while we're always going to keep an eye on the mergers and acquisitions business, again, I don't know that anything transformative will happen, number one. And number two, things are just expensive right now. So that, in my opinion, I think we're happy with the organic growth that we've seen from our retail business. That's the annuity business we're in. We continue to have record quarter after record quarter and organic sales growth. But again, I've been surprised before, so I suppose it's possible there could be another acquisition, but I'd be a little surprised based on where equities are. That's all.
Well, I appreciate that answer, Mr. Campbell. That is probably about as honest of an answer as anybody on this call would ever hear from an insurer. So thank you very much for that. With that being said, buddy, that is the end of the questions I have. Before we go, any parting words for the group, sir?
Just thanks again for the time. Have a great holiday season. Look forward to working with you. And Scott, we'll see you soon. Thanks.
Hey, thank you, Mac. Appreciate your time greatly. To everyone left on the call, we do appreciate your time. We know 50 minutes spent with us is 50 minutes where you're not out actively selling and prospecting, so it is greatly appreciated. I look forward to speaking with you all very, very soon. If there's anything we can do to help, please don't hesitate to give a call, 800-255-5055. Go out and have a great sales day, everyone. Thank you.